It's spooky season! Hello everyone. It is now October, which means I have free reign to be as spooky as I want to be. If you are new here, know that I freaking love Halloween. My birthday's on Halloween, so that's partially got some things to do with it. But I freaking love Halloween, and this entire month we are celebrating that with fun Halloween science topics. So today, we're going to be talking about the creepiest, weirdest things that I could find on the ocean floor. Maybe this is just because I love the ocean, maybe it's because I watched too much of The Most Extreme on Animal Planet as a kid, but man, there's some weird things that live in the ocean. Now let's find out what they are. First on the list is the flapjack octopus. This guy may fall into more of the cute category than the weird category, but still pretty weird. Named for the fact that when it's resting on the sea floor, it just kind of looks like a pancake. These guys are actually part of a group of octopi known as umbrella octopi because they have webbing in between their tentacles. These guys get further weirder because of how deep they live in the ocean. Any creature that lives deep in the ocean is kind of weird because there's not a lot of food, not a lot of light. They gotta overcome a lot of things to survive. And so as such, they are typically a deep red to orange in color. This is because red light does not reach the depths of the ocean, so anything that's reddish orange in color is gonna appear as black to other animals. Red light has the lowest amount of energy and just can't make it through all of those layers of water. These guys also don't have any ink sac, so they can't ink to get away from predators, but if they already look black in very dark water, spraying black ink into the water won't really help them. And they don't swim like normal octopi do. They actually pulsate up and down, so they kind of look like jellyfish. Yeah, you can drop below how weird you think the flapjack octopus is in the comments. And trust me, I'm bringing you weirder animals. So, let's keep going to my next weirdest animal, the dragonfish, which number one just looks freaking scary. Some weird thing, like, I don't know what evolutionarily, maybe they just don't need to find mates in the physically attractive way in the same way that humans do, so they just developed to look freaking scary as heck. I don't know. Dragonfish are terrifying. They live in the depths of the ocean, and they are black in color. In fact, they actually contain some of the darkest black pigments that we know to exist in nature, which, from a color scientist artist perspective, if you know anything about pigmentation and colors, is very cool that this is like that these guys naturally just got so black because we have issues making pigments that black in real life. These guys also have a large sexual dimorphic characteristics. So the female of this species, let me verify my facts here. The females of this species actually can get up to about 20 inches long, but the males only 2 to 6 inches long. The females will rise to the surface at night to eat and have a little light attached to them to lure unsuspecting prey in. I think at this point, if I was an unsuspecting prey, I would get really confused when all of a sudden there's light down at the bottom of the ocean where light is not supposed to be. I think I'd eventually catch on, but maybe not. The males have a skeleton made out of cartilage, not bone, and they have no teeth, and they have no digestive system. That's right, the men in this species are born to reproduce and then die, because they don't eat. I'm glad humans are not like that, because I quite like my husband. I think their strong sexual dimorphism and the fact they contain some of the blackest pigments known in nature makes them worthy to be on this weird list. Also, again, just their appearance is frankly terrifying. But moving on to sea spiders. That's right, not even the ocean floor is safe from spiders. Isn't that kind of mean? That does feel kind of mean. Maybe space is safe from spiders? Nobody tell me if there are space spiders. I don't want to know if there are space spiders because they're probably terrifying. But sea spiders, also in a big group known as pycnogonids, are like spiders except they live in the ocean. These guys range in size from about 1 millimeter to 50 centimeters, which is about 20 inches or the size of a house cat. Yeah, can you imagine a freaking spider the size of a house cat coming towards you? No, sea spiders are freaking scary. And they have these very long multi-jointed legs that actually enable them to travel over sandy surfaces without getting stuck. These legs are even more important because they contain many of the organs that the spiders use to live, including their intestines and digestive tract, and they even breathe through their legs. And if you think that is weird, you won't believe where our next guest breathes from. So they're even breathing out of their legs. These guys eat by sticking their proboscis into an unsuspecting soft body at the bottom of the seafloor and slurping out all of its insides like a disgusting smoothie. Weird, yeah. Okay, imagine this. You're just crawling along the seafloor, being you, and a spider the size of a house cat comes along, sticks its little mouth straw into you, and just slurps out your insides. I am glad I don't live at the bottom of the ocean where sea spiders exist. I don't even know what this video is. Next up on my list of weird animals is the sea pig. Many of you may have seen I don't actually know if it's famous. I freaking love this video. The video about the sea pig by Z Frank. You should go watch it. I'll link it down below. It's pretty good. The sea pig, not related to a land pig, is actually a type of sea cucumber, which is in the echinoderm phylum related to sea stars, brittle stars, sea urchins, and sand dollars. The sea pig is pig-like, I guess. Somebody decided it looked like a pig. And it's this little soft-bodied guy that just crawls along the ocean floor and feeds on anything it can scavenge. So dead stuff that's fallen onto the ocean floor. Whale carcasses that die and fall are a big source of food for really anything living at the bottom of the ocean, but things like sea pigs. And you know how I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird that sea spiders breathe out of their legs, but you'll never guess what my next guest breathes out of? That's right. The sea pig can actually breathe out of its butt. Yeah, weird. The sea pig's butt does a lot of important things for it, including breathing. Glad we don't breathe out of our butts. That would be weird. Also, sometimes they eat out of their butts. Yeah, life. Weird. Sea pigs are strange. They're kind of cute, though. They're one of the cuter things on this list. But it's competing against dragonfish and sea spiders. So, like sea pig, sea spider on the cuteness scale. There is also some evidence that these guys actually serve as a protector for juvenile crab species, though, because there have been reports of juvenile crab species latching onto them and just traveling around and getting protection from predators by catching a ride on the sea pig. But we really don't know that much about sea pigs because they live thousands of miles below the surface of the ocean, and anytime we've tried to bring one up, it just kind of disintegrates because it's got a very fragile body. So we don't know a lot, but we do know they can breathe and eat out of their butts, and they might be a protector for juvenile crabs. Keep up the good work, sea pigs. Now finally, the weirdest animal that I could think of that lives on the seafloor are hydrothermal vent worms. And you may be thinking, Brianna, a worm is the best thing you can think of? Yeah, okay. Hydrothermal vent worms are pretty rad. These guys settle around hydrothermal vents or cracks in the sea floor that's allowing gas and stuff to, bubble up through the Earth's crust and heats the water. These guys can live in temperatures up to, hold up, sorry, I gotta check the notes again. These guys can live in waters that are over 600 degrees Fahrenheit or over 300 degrees Celsius. And they don't have a digestive system, they don't have a mouth, and they don't have a butt. So, you're like, Brianna, again, are these even animals? They actually are, and here is how they survive. I don't really know if this is weird, or if it's just cool, or if it's both. I'm sorry, got excited. They have symbiotic bacteria living inside of them that can feed on the minerals coming out of the hydrothermal vents and turn it into organic energy that the hydrothermal vent worms use to survive. Ooh! So you know how in school you're always taught that, plants are the only things that can make their own food through photosynthesis? Guess what? Not true. The symbiotic bacteria in hydrothermal vent worms use something called chemosynthesis, or making energy out of the chemicals in the water to help those hydrothermal vent worms survive. So they're actually able to take inorganic materials like hydrogen sulfide, carbonates, other things that are coming out of those hydrothermal vents, and convert it into organic food that can be turned into energy. And if you don't think that's freaking cool, I don't know what else is. The major downside is if the hydrothermal vent just stops hydrothermaling, then the hydrothermal vent worms will die. They really rely on that inorganic material coming out of the vent to give them food. So that is just my rundown of some of the weirdest, coolest animals on the ocean floor. Please comment down below how weird you think each of them were. And if you have your own weird animal to share, there were plenty while I was doing research. These were just kind of my favorite. Please put it down in the comments. Comment below your favorite weird ocean animal. I'll also accept weird animals. Animals are weird, and I love them. It's a great time to be alive. We're here for spooky science season. You can check out my TikTok to go find daily science experiments for the month of October. You can check out my Instagram to see my daily October Halloween themed outfit. And this entire month long, spooky science time. So as always, like this video, subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, because it's spooky season, and keep it sciencey!